Right, we're live, by the way.
Okay.
Oh shit. I'm crap.
Well, I can actually... I can...
Cereal. I'm not stopping. I'm gonna finish my bowl of cereal.
Hey guys. Welcome to Artificial Fun episode, I think 7. Are we good? How is everyone?
I'm adequate.
I am good. I'm eating cereal while wearing sunglasses.
What kind of cereal?
Fruit Loops. No.
Oh, why?
Lucky Charms.
Oh, why would you do that?
Choice.
Don't do that.
Don't
You gotta
do
get
that.
it right the first time. Alright, start over.
For some reason, okay, I ate 3 types of cereal. I ate Lucky Charms, Fruit Loops, and Honey Nut Cheerios. So that and
How do you have
there's
teeth?
like Frosted Flakes.
How
Frosted
do you
Flakes.
still have teeth?
Oh, Frosties.
Frosty.
So I get them mixed up.
Yeah, I don't know. I eat like the sweetest thing I eat are Cheerios, like standard Cheerios. Like I can't eat like unless it's Crave, and then I'll like eat that. Anyway, that's got nothing to do with gaming. This week has been rather slow. Although there's been some there's not been like a lot happening over the week, but we've got some pretty big stuff that we're going to talk about. We're going to discuss. Did you actually put it up on the Slack? I didn't see.
No, hold on. I just went through it with you guys. I'll just put it up
So
quickly.
basically, we're going to be going through, obviously the biggest thing we're going to be going through is the Star Wars Battlefront 3. We're going to be going through a little bit about GTA 5 port and how that's been doing. Batman vs Superman trailer. I know it's nothing to do with video games, but it's something that we're all interested in. It's been highly anticipated, and I don't know if it's going to be highly anticipated anymore. Rock Band versus Guitar Hero. Guitar Hero Live is obviously coming out, so we're going to be talking about that. Smash Bros. Rumors and Mewtwo's going to be coming out. EA closing down free-to-play games. All of them or some of them?
A few of them. Mostly their PC ones, not their mobile ones.
I know they're like Need for Speed. There's a free game for that, and that's possibly going to be closed down and stuff.
We'll talk about which ones.
Yeah.
We'll go through that in a bit.
And Symphony of the Goddess. Chris, you put that down, so I don't know what
Yep,
that is.
I will talk about that in a second. Just quickly plug it.
Cool. Well, why don't you plug that out and plug it in now? We get into the larger topics because we're going to be arguing for.
Okay, sure. Well, you mean you don't think I can talk about it for an hour? Okay, no.
I'm sure you probably.
Okay, so yeah, I went to the official or semi-official Nintendo concert thing where they play Zelda music, and it's called the Symphony of the Goddesses, and it's doing its European tour at the moment. But I think it had an original one which it did when Skyward Sword came out, where it went around mostly the US, I think. And yeah, it was really good, like really good production values. The orchestra was amazing, top notch, didn't miss a note. And yeah, I mean, it was really weird to see that many Zelda fans in one room in my country, because you know they're out there, but it doesn't really strike you until you fill a stadium with them or an arena with them. And yeah, I've never seen that many people wearing my hoodie because it's like the official Skyward Sword hoodie, so
yeah,
pretty much a third of the people there had it on. And I also got like 200 street passes, which is the other use of these events, is to really build up your play coins or whatever.
That's basically the main use.
Basically.
Yeah, basically.
But yeah, no, it was amazing performance from everyone. And if it's ever playing, near where you are, it's totally worth going down to see if you're a big Zelda fan. It's a really great experience. So yeah, on to the next topic.
Yeah.
Radio.
Let's just dive straight into the deep end. Star Wars Battlefront 3 trailer.
Yeah.
Matt's ready. So the Star Wars Battlefront 3 trailer was released on Friday over here. So I'm just going to quickly post that up into the middle of this stream so you guys can give it a watch if you haven't seen. And actually, you know what? I'll put the link down below, and you can watch it yourself. Put your headphones in, listen to it through some or decent speakers. It is a brilliant trailer. I'll give them that.
Looks good.
And so, like, basically, yeah. What are your guys' thoughts about it? Because I mean, the trailer. Let's talk. Let's split this up. First of all, we'll talk about the anticipation of the game. No, sorry. First of all, we'll talk about the trailer, and then we'll talk about the anticipation of game, and then we'll talk about the actual game. Okay. So the trailer. Thoughts?
I thought it was a good reveal trailer.
It was,
That
it was
showcased
really nice
the
tease.
Frostbite 3 engine very nicely. And showed that their art team is doing a very good job at recreating the Star Wars universe.
You know,
That's pretty valid. I've got one complaint, really.
Sure.
But I think I'll save that for... I don't know, does anyone else have some praise?
I would just literally like to say that, like, it was exactly what I had hoped in terms of the trailer. I thought it was... I mean, it was really exciting. And when I was watching it, it was almost as exciting as watching the trailer for the movie that's coming up soon at the end of the year, Force Awakens. So that was pretty cool. And I liked some of the commentary that they did on some of the bits and pieces, but we'll talk about that in a bit to do with the game and you know how that links into the rest of the universe, which is actually quite interesting. But yeah, I guess the trailer I really enjoyed. I really liked it. Although I
guess my complaint.
Oh. So gone. No, I was just going to quickly just say the last thing I was going to say is that the only thing that I didn't like about it is that they only showed like really one scene, and there was nothing really else.
I'm just
Honestly, the other scenes that they showed were more impressive to me than like the long Endor scene.
Yeah.
And the big reason is there were no Ewoks.
Yeah.
How were you
I
on
think
Endor
there was
without, like,
there was an
like
Ewok.
a sound
There was an
in the
Ewok.
background.
No, you could see him.
There's like
Can you blow
there's
them
can
like
see the
no
Ewok.
Ewoks dying.
There's an
And there's
Ewok.
no, like,
There was one. There
There's
was an
an
Ewok. There
Ewok.
was an Ewok. There was an Ewok.
It's hiding.
Yeah, okay. There's like none dying, and there's no Ewok traps, which just like
Wait, good.
really dull that battle down.
They didn't
my
show
opinion.
too much of it though.
The
Yeah,
the main
that's
problem
true.
that I had with it was that they only showed one scene, which I was very disappointed with. I thought they were going to show multiple scenes with lots of different
Well,
footage from
it's-
different places, and you know, at least something from from space. But like,
I think it
But that's part of the thing. They're not doing space this time
for
around.
the moon.
People went to.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
But I think as far as the trailer goes, I think the forest moon of Endor. I'm just.
Yes.
I really hope that more people are picking up on what's happening on my webcam right now.
I know.
Yeah, because your glasses are.
Oh, you got your
Oh
glasses.
yeah,
reflex.
you're
Bit of screen sharing.
Yeah. Okay.
The trailer's playing. Um,
Very
sorry,
good.
it's just Chris was laughing at it. Anyway, I think that was the first level that they ever made, because when they showed a little bit of development footage last year at E3.
Yeah.
That was what they showed off. They were showing off them working on Endor or the moon. So I think that might be why that's the main thing they showed. But they did have a clip from Hoth. And it was Tatooine, and then there was another one that I have no idea what it was, but it was like a grayish.
Oh, that's
Like-
their new planet.
That's the Star Wars 7 one. Yeah.
Yeah. So
No.
actually, there's
The
something.
Battle of-
something I should probably mention.
There's
like,
Jakku,
right now.
which is the new desert planet, but there's another one.
Get to it in a second. We'll get to it in a second.
So one thing I should
We're talking
probably mention right now is that the idea of this game is that it links the Return of the Jedi and the Force Awakens. It's the middle section between those two films, and one of the biggest things that EA were talking about with their was when they're working alongside Disney with the start of this new Star Wars game was that the only way that you're going to learn about what happens between those two moments, those two movies, is playing this game. And obviously later on listening to people talking about it and stuff.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna because there was a lot of rumors coming out about the game a few months ago, and one of those, but some of those have been proven to be completely false, just based on what because they have one thing I will say, and now we're moving on from the trailer, is their Facebook page has been answering a lot of questions, like a whole lot of questions. In terms of multiplayer levels, how many people are asking how many game modes there's going to be, how many maps there's going to be, when it's going to take place, whether or not there's going to be space battles, whether or not there's going to be first and third person. And I'm assuming all of this obviously was announced at the event, but the social media team, which is it's EA Star Wars, is the Facebook page. It's not like a Battlefront page. They've been answering a lot of those questions, which I think is cool. Now. One of the rumors was that there was going to be a storyline that bridged the episode 6 and episode 7, but they've stated that they're focusing on multiplayer, which implies that there will be no single player campaign. Now, okay, go ahead. No, respond.
I was literally going to say. So this is something. So before we started the stream, me and Matt we touched on this very, very briefly, and this is where there's going to be a big point of contention. I believe we didn't really talk about it enough, but between me and Matt in terms of our views on this game.
Oh, I knew there was two things that I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, because
the other one.
So basically, I was going to say, because for me. Just so you know where I am, I was really excited about this game, and the main reason why was because I was going to play a Star Wars game for not the first time, but for the first time in a long time. And I wanted to, I really, really wanted to experience the Star Wars universe, but it looks like things may be different now. So yeah, go for it. Carry on.
All right. So this is what I want to say about that. In Battlefront and Battlefront 2. There was a game mode called Galactic Conquest. Yeah. And Galactic Conquest was one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. It was basically a combination of a grand strategy game, first-person shooter. You had to capture each planet. Certain planets give you superpowers, like you could use the Death Star if you were Imperials. I think Rebels could call in that big gun that they've got on Hoth, or something along those lines. And you could upgrade all your troops, you could buy upgrades, use upgrades, all that kind of stuff. It was really neat. Well, they've said that they're focusing on multiplayer. Now, one thing that I only saw mentioned in one place was that there's also going to be a series of missions that you can play either single player or cooperatively with a friend.
Yeah.
That is something that has been said. It's probably not going to be your very cinematic campaign, but it is going to be some co-op missions, probably very similar. I think Battlefield 3 had them, or had something along those lines. Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, they weren't too great. But if they do them right, they could be very entertaining. Now, as far as the story goes, the last time DICE made a campaign that really interested me was Bad Company 2.
Yeah, that's the one.
Battlefield 3, I wasn't a big fan of. Battlefield 4, I wasn't a big fan of. They did a very good job of showcasing the engine.
Yeah.
And they were entertaining, but I don't know. I mean, I would enjoy a campaign, but to be completely honest, if DICE is focusing on multiplayer, I think it's just going to make multiplayer better. And you have to remember that EA has exclusive rights to Star Wars games.
Yeah.
There's going to be a story-driven shooter. I guarantee it'll happen.
On that note, they already actually confirmed that they're making a new Star Wars story-driven game. All we know that at the moment is it's an action game. Okay. Whatever that means. So it might be first person, it might be third person. It's confirmed for E3 as well, so they'll be showing it off in a couple months. It's being developed by Visceral Games, who I know, I'll just remind myself very quickly what they did before. Okay, so they did...
Dead Space.
Yeah, they did Dead Space, Battlefield.
The first one. They did Dead Space, the first Dead Space.
No, they did all of them.
They did all of them. I thought Visceral did. Which game am I talking about? Which game company am I thinking about that they had different ones? I'm thinking about Call of Duty. Ignore me.
Probably,
okay.
Yeah. So they did. They've done a very varied amount of things. They're mostly known for Dead Space. They did Dante's Inferno, unfortunately. They did Battlefield Hardline. And quite a few decent things. They did the Good Lord of the Rings tie-in games. and
They
a
could
bunch
do a
of
good
James
job.
Bond games. Yeah, they could. They're perfectly capable of making a really good.
They've made some questionable decisions in the past.
But they've
Hotline was a very
made a
weird
lot of
departure.
good games.
Yeah, I think some of the
yeah.
more questionable stuff may have had some degree of publisher pressure. Obviously not confirming that, but
Like the Dead Space 3.
yeah, stuff like the microtransactions in Dead Space 3 weren't very suited, I feel, to the sort of game experience that they wanted to have. But yeah, either way, I had to go in.
I mean, there's some points I'd just like to point this out. Obviously, like I know we're not meant to, we're meant to stay moderately neutral when it comes to talking about companies. But we will say, I want to say that we can say it how it is if we want to say it how it is. Like EA have put pressure on developers when it comes to doing microtransaction. The world knows it, everyone knows it. So like, you know, they in the past they have actually made a lot of games possibly not as desirable, although they've made them a lot more profitable, which is, in terms of a business decisions.
Even then, I'd argue that it's actually hurt their bottom line in a few places. Like Dead Space 3, the microtransactions put a lot of people off, and Dungeon Keeper was a pretty...
Well, to be fair, it didn't make any bloody sense. It didn't make any sense to put microtransactions in a single-player game. That's fine, but I think they've learned from that.
Yeah,
I'm not saying... Because I like EA. I actually like EA. I'm one of the people that doesn't think EA is the worst company ever.
No, I agree. I've always said to people, like, okay, they are a company who are legitimately trying to test the water with a lot of things. For about 2 or 3 years, they were releasing games where they were testing the water like heavily with microtransactions and stuff. I think they've learned their lesson. I just feel like, and we've touched on this before as well, I think the video games industry is still quite an immature industry in the sense that if a company makes a mistake, everyone jumps on top of them and doesn't even give them a chance to actually try and feel the waters and work out what's happening with, you know, because again, like, it is an immature industry, it hasn't been around for a very long time. People are still making, you know, decisions. It's not like the car industry or, you know, anything else like that's been around for, you know, decades.
Missteps have been made, but I want EA to make good, successful games, and a lot of their projects have a lot of enthusiasm and passion behind them. And like a few years ago, they were really riding high, and people, you know, there was a lot of good sentiment towards them. So it's just a matter of sort of managing what gamers really want, and as they go forward,
everybody ups and downs. But back on the Battlefront, so there's probably not going to be a huge single-player part of it, which a lot of people are saying. They're calling it cut features. They're not cut. I don't understand that term.
So this is
because I think they think is going to be sequential, but it's not. It's a different game.
Yeah. So basically, I think there's one thing like basically the original idea that I had about Battlefront when I first saw it was that it was going to be this epic, simulation game where you would go from one place to another, playing as a different character in different places. I found out, obviously this is something that probably a lot of people know already, Battlefront before was always a multiplayer game, apparently.
Battlefield.
Primarily. Definitely.
It had and the single player component of it was just led you into bot matches that work just like multiplayer.
I mean, essentially it was Star Wars Battlefield to a degree.
So everybody jumped on dice making it.
So Matt, your camera was on. It's back again. So that was one thing that sort of calmed me down a little bit. Obviously, the thing that Chris has just said has got me quite excited. So hopefully, I'll be seeing a single player. The one thing
coming up.
The one game, I don't know if anybody remembers this. There was a game called Jedi Starfighter back in 2005, I think it was.
Small game, you know.
It was.
Kind of played it.
Yeah. Well, I loved that game, and I thought it was one of the best like flight simulation like fighter games that I'd played, you know, probably forever. And I would really like to see something like that in a Star Wars game, but I don't know if that will ever happen.
Well, you know what? What you want to do then is cross your fingers and hope that they revive Rogue Squadron.
Yeah,
Oh yes, I would love
pretty
to.
much. I'd
Yeah.
love
They
some more
will.
Rogue
They
Squadron.
will because they're making a movie.
I'd be surprised if they didn't. Yeah, that too. Like, it would make no
Yeah,
marketing sense to not have another Rogue Squadron game. And hopefully, it could. Like the third one divided a lot of people. I never actually got to play that one myself,
Yeah.
but it was still a good game from all I've heard. Rogue Squadron 3.
Oh yeah. I would love to play.
It had a sub. Anyways.
Yeah. So, and the biggest thing. So this is the biggest kicker for me. So I don't play many multiplayer games because I'm not a big fan of multiplayer games. And if I do play multiplayer games, I play them on the PC. But I wanted to. I've been trying to get more into the PS4, into PS4 gaming and so on and so forth because I actually quite enjoyed the controller and so on. But that's probably the kicker for me because I won't be able to, because I don't have a PS Plus account, and I don't really want to pay for that, just because I'm just not interested in doing online multiplayer.
Well, that's just console. That's just console.
Yeah, just on console. PC would still be free.
So PC, but then I have to get Origin and I have to do all that.
But
you have Origin.
Origin is not the same beast that it used to be. Origin is a lot more. Like, I used to give Origin a lot of. To be fair, they used to have a lot of problems. When Dead Space 3 came, the multiplayer works the same way that a lot of Steam games work, and that it runs through Steam servers.
You're
breaking up a lot.
Matt's going a bit showdown there.
Can you hear me now clearly?
I can hear you clearly.
Well, the camera it's not the camera, it's the Skype connection. There's nothing we can do about that other than switch to a better program, which doesn't exist.
Thanks, Skype.
So, thanks, Obama. Anyways. What was I saying? When Dead Space 3 Origin servers went down for like 2.5 months and you couldn't play Dead Space multiplayer. It was like a 2.5 month issue. They went down, but a lot of people couldn't play them. That being said, they're a lot better now. I have a few games through Origin. Most of them, I will say, are games that could not be fired on any platform other than Origin. But Battlefield, Battlefield, the SimCity, which used to have a lot of issues, Sims 4, Titanfall. I haven't had any issues with Titanfall at all, and that's an Origin thing. So there's no problem with me. Another thing is that it's not going to use Battlelog, which, if you haven't played Battlefield on PC, you might know what Battlelog is. So Battlefield.
Oh shit. Okay. I've lost everyone. Okay. Sorry guys. I'm just gonna try and get back into this call. And that was breaking up anyway.
I'm looking at him.
Sometimes the internet does occasionally. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, we're back. We're back.
A little fuzzy. But...
It was great watching you get confused on stream.
And Matt, it's very fuzzy. What's happening?
It's the connection. There's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah, I wonder why it was okay before, for the most part.
Yeah, there's no telephone. It's an even day of the month, so no, it's not. It's an odd. Whatever. Where did we cut out? What was I talking about? Battle Log.
Yep.
So Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 didn't have menus. Anytime you joined a game or launched a single player, you did it from your browser. This caused a lot of issues for some people. People had a lot of problems with it, but apparently Battlefront isn't going to use Battlelog, so that's an improvement.
That's good.
It's also not going to be... So that's just a kind of in response to your Origin thing, and I think it's had some issues with Origin as well. They've gotten a lot better than they used to be, than it used to be. So, and if you really don't want to buy it on Origin, buy it as a digital download on Amazon, activate it on Origin. If you care that much, I don't really care anymore because Origin doesn't bother me that much.
Or you
that being said,
console, yeah.
Or you can get it on a console, yeah. Whatever you want to do. Another thing that people are complaining about is not going to be any space battles.
Yeah, that's something that I had a big fan.
There will be pilotable space vehicles, craft, like Y-wings and wings and all that kind of TIE fighters, all that stuff. But it's atmospheric combat.
Yeah, they'll all be on planets.
Yeah. Now this I don't really care about because, to be completely honest, Battlefront 2 had the most clunkiest freaking space combat thing I had ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It was the game mode was entertaining, but the actual action playing it was very clunky.
Yeah, like you blow
especially
up
on
a ship
PC.
and then it just like kind of cracks in half and sinks and then disappears.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, that
pretty
and
bad.
flying.
I mean,
The flying controls were weird and all that stuff.
Eh,
So
I got used to the flying.
I think most
Well, it
people
was
just
better
prefer
on
that
console.
if a feature doesn't work quite as intended, that the next one fixes it. But I guess it's up to like whether when they do a sequel to a game, whether you prefer they
Well,
remove something that's broken or they improve
thing
it.
is,
Because
it's not Battlefront 3 though.
yeah,
It's just battle. It's a
that is an
reboot. It's
important
not
point.
a sequel. It's
Yeah.
a not a
It's
sequel.
a sequel
It's
to
really
Battlefront
a
1.
reimagining. It's not even a sequel though.
It's Battlefront
remake.
1 2.
It's Battlefield 1.0.
Yeah,
Well, just remember that it is technically a sequel to the movie and the prequel to the new movie.
Well, I mean,
But it's not though. They're not even saying that. That's not
setting
even. That was
wise,
a rumor. That was a rumor though.
No.
Yeah.
EA actually confirmed that.
Did they?
They will.
I don't know.
Yeah, but there's no story, so I don't really see. It might be set in the two, but it's not a sequel to the movie.
The
There's no
idea,
story, so how
the
can it
idea is it's the battles, the
I
actual
think they
battles
might have
that
just
are
said
going
it was
on.
like canon.
No, it's actually in between two time periods.
It could be set, but I could see it being set between the two time periods.
Yeah.
But it's also. So another thing to point out is
That doesn't make sense.
they're gonna have it makes sense, and you'll understand why it's there.
Yeah, because
Um,
the base on Hoth was blown up in Empire Strikes Back, and there's a Hoth level.
They might have had more than one.
It was an empire, so they probably had quite a lot still there. And the rebels didn't. The rebels they destroyed the Death Star in the final sequence, but they didn't actually like. There's still lots of places that there was still resistance, probably.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, and that's why in
battle
Star Wars trailer you see
Because the Empire
Star
wasn't
Destroyer.
actually the Empire was fueled by two Sith Lords, but
Okay,
it was actually still an army with generals and commanders.
if there's not a story, none of the discussion matters. I just want to throw this into the conversation.
Sure.
If
yeah,
it's
the
a
story doesn't really matter.
But what I was going to say was they are going to have quite a few DLC packs, a lot like Battlefield. The first one is going to come out shortly after the movie, and it's called the Battle of Jakku.
Yeah,
And Jakku, for anyone unaware, is the desert planet that you see in the Force Awakens trailers.
Yeah.
Looks a lot like Tatooine.
So, yeah, it
yeah.
looks a lot like it's a desert planet, so it's going to look.
They all look the same.
Matt,
I
Matt, I was
mean,
just going to quickly ask before you carry on. Do you want to restart your webcam or like come out of the call and come back in again?
That might fix it.
It may fix it. Yeah. Okay. He's gone.
Oh, there he goes.
Loading.
Yep. There you go.
It fixed it.
Fixed
Yeah,
it.
there we go. Nice. Fantastic.
So carry on.
Okay.
Cool.
You guys actually sound better now. That's weird.
Matt
And you
Streets.
sound better as well.
All right.
That's weird.
Okay, carry on.
Anyways.
So you're talking about Jakku.
So yeah, I imagine we'll get DLC. Obviously, the Battle of Jakku is going to be related to Jakku, and there will probably be DLC for other planets that get released in the Force Awakens. There might even be a space battle DLC. That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking, like with Battle of Jakku, you see on Jakku a downed Star Destroyer,
Mhm.
like lying in the sand, broken. Those are space vehicles. Those aren't atmospheric vehicles. So that
Came in from
sounds
space.
like
Well,
it
it
would be
didn't
a
have to
space battle.
Well, if it's in orbit, because they could stay in orbit, and if it was in orbit and it lost
Yeah.
its
Like, they
drive,
have to
because
refuel
remember
them
the reason why shuttles stay in orbit around the Earth is they're in a state of free fall, so they are constantly falling towards Earth. It's just Earth is rotating too fast
Yeah, but they're
before
not
they.
getting-
No,
No,
so-
that's not what Cameron said. What
So,
Cameron's saying
yeah.
is the Battle of Jakku. He thinks might be referencing to a space battle
battle,
instead of
yeah.
stuff on the
Yeah.
ground.
That's
I
what I'm
don't
saying, since that's a space
I think
vehicle.
no, I think that's just a name for it. I think there's probably going to be 4 or 5 maps that
Yeah,
take place on Jakku.
it
I
might
don't
be
Oh, I
like
thought
a-
you were just
it
talking
might be
about
like
the
a
reason
big-
why a space
No,
Star Destroyer
He's
was.
implying that they might be adding space combat in that DLC,
Oh, okay. That would be
and I don't think they
I
will.
think it's possible based on how the movie is, but I doubt it. Like I don't see
I
that
don't think
happening,
it will.
but
I guess we'll find out as we find out more
I
about.
feel like it should if it
Yeah.
is that battle where that happened. Maybe it's a battle that happened after that.
The thing is, I
Maybe-
don't think it's I don't think it was
Maybe
a
it's just the
battle.
part that happened on the ground.
That
Yeah, I
could
don't
be
know.
it too. That could be it too. But the first DLC is free for everybody, and if you pre-order the game, you get it a week early.
Oh, okay.
So that's how that's going to work. And I imagine everything after
Awesome.
that, they'll probably have a premium service like Battlefield,
Mm.
or you can just buy them separately, like you can with Battlefield.
And there's also that other new planet, Solist, that is all lava-ish. That looks interesting.
Yeah. I got to be careful
don't
because
really know
SWTOR
what it
is
Sweet.
they're introducing new planets as well, and one of them is the Imperial homeworld. So
Oh, cool.
I'm
The
getting all my
Sith
planets
homeworld?
confused.
You mean?
The Imperial homeworld, where
Oh.
the Empire was founded.
Is that technically Coruscant? Oh.
No.
Am I
No,
thinking
No,
something?
it's like Zioist or something. Ziost.
Is it
Oh,
the one you
isn't
went to in
that-
KOTOR 1? Or
It
am I
might
still
be, I don't
thinking
really-
of the Sith homeworld?
Is this the one where they were cloning everyone?
Gateway to the Empire in the days of the Old Republic was a world made up entirely of ancient dark forest. However, the trees withered away and the planet became very similar landscape to Korriban. It's an ice planet. Its focal point of the dark side was the adopted homeworld and imperial capital of the Sith species, who left their original
okay.
homeworld Korriban.
Hmm.
I thought it was Korriban, because that's the one you went to in
Yeah,
Knights of the Old
Korriban
Republic. And they were like, this is the Sith planet.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, they left
basically
that
the whole
planet.
Sith.
Yeah, they left that planet and moved over to Zoist, and then they used Korriban as a training ground. After which,
Okay.
when you see that happen in SWTOR. If you start out as a Sith Inquisitor or a Sith Warrior in SWTOR, your
Yeah.
training takes place on Korriban.
Oh, that makes sense. Question. So, regarding like the Old Republic and everything that they said about Star Wars, is anything that happens in the Old Republic canon anymore?
So technically no, because what Disney said was anything other than the movies,
Mhm.
Star Wars Rebels,
Right.
and there was another
The
thing
Clone
too.
The
Wars
Clone Wars.
series.
Clone Wars series.
The Clone
That's
Wars
canon.
is not canon
Okay.
in relation to that. But I look at it as I don't really care.
They just
Because I can in my mind, the Old Republic is canon. It doesn't matter what they say because it's how I look at it. Another thing that someone pointed out, a different way to look at it, is how Marvel does their stuff.
Mhm.
It's just a different universe.
That's, yeah. With all
That's
the
one way to
arguments.
look at it.
I just look at it like they're just saying that so that Abrams can do whatever he wants, and then
Yeah,
afterward,
That is
whatever
why
he
they're
doesn't
saying it.
retcon is
That's exactly
still
why they're
canon.
saying it.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Unless
why
he
they're saying it.
changes
But
it,
this is
it's
just a
still
way to
canon.
look at it.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
fair enough to him because.
Well, I mean, if you think about it,
You.
yeah, if you think about it, the Star Wars, the Star Wars series is based on the movies for the most part. I mean, totally. Right?
Yeah, but
right?
Yeah.
a lot of those books were retarded.
Which are based on
There
the
were
book.
some stupid expanded universe books. Like one of the books talked about how the exhaust port on the Death Star was an intentional design flaw, and there's a whole conspiracy
Oh,
theory
God,
about
yeah.
some.
Oh
jeez.
my god. Why?
It gets retarded.
And the Star Wars
Because-
Holiday Special DLC pack for
Something-
Battlefront.
Hey,
Oh,
shh.
God.
We don't-
We don't talk about the Star Wars Holiday
we don't
Special.
talk about the
Explain this to
Star
me.
Wars special.
Oh,
Oh my god. In the late 80s,
Yes.
there was a Star Wars holiday special that took place on.
No, okay, let's yeah. I don't want to remember this. No, okay, please, you can stop. You can stop.
It had Chewie's
I
son.
don't want you to tell me anymore because I've seen it and
what did they call it again? Like the Day of Giving.
Yeah, and there was
It's like-
singing and.
And then Princess Leia sings a song.
Oh no! Please just shut up, please. It's just that mixed in with Xbox Live, not Xbox Live, Xbox Connect dancing with Star Wars. Like I'm just thinking Han Solo just on the dance floor.
I'm solo. I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo.
Yeah,
You didn't like
and-
those remix songs? Hey, that disco theme was actually that was a vinyl record.
That was a
released
high
in the
point
80s.
for
Yeah, I
the
know.
Yeah.
I
series.
know. That one's so
That's a
good.
legitimate album, and it's awesome.
It is
And I
just
listened
so
to it
good.
while I
I
was
want that
running
album.
Right. So I guess overall we're quite neutral about the game. No, I'm a lot more neutral now. I know that there's potentially going to
I'm
be
totally excited.
a single player game. And
Well,
I
let's see how it
I may play the game if like the multiplayer online
wait.
on PC.
No,
Possibly.
listen. Here's people are freaking out about this game. We haven't seen. There's not any publicly available gameplay footage at all. We haven't seen it. They showed some behind closed doors, and it was like a choreographed thing that they did with the people playing it, just like all demos are. There's going to be gameplay footage revealed at E3. Wait until then to form any of your opinions, and then wait for the future months because there's going to be a ton of more videos. All that they've showed so far is a in-engine pre-rendered cinematic.
Which is still gonna. Yeah. It looks very.
I'm basing most of my judgments on what they've said. Not so much the trailer. The trailer I loved. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, and two other things to quickly point out: there will be first and third person, and there will be split screen multiplayer modes on consoles.
Neato.
So if all of the stuff that you can play in multiplayer can be played as split screen co-op, then I think me and Chris would happily. I mean, like, I'll happily go.
Just wait. I mean, and who knows? They might come out 2 months from now and say, "Oh yeah, there's space battle." I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. We got till November 17th.
I mean, it's all possible for them to add that in DLC too.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I was just thinking, like, what they may do is if people would demanded it enough, they may put in like a whole DLC or an expansion to make it single player, to make a single player campaign. I mean,
they could do that. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past them to do something like. What did you just say?
Yes. They could do Star Wars Bad Company.
This needs to happen.
That was basically an expansion pack.
So bad.
That's true.
But they could do it so you play as like Stormtroopers or Rebel.
Yes, Stormtroopers.
Could give them a side story.
I would love to play.
Commando.
This is what
Make them all idiots.
That would be
Make
pretty
them
cool.
all idiots. I love this idea.
Because that's why people really like Republic Commando, and they never made another one because it didn't sell as much as they wanted. I don't think.
It was a good game though. Yeah, it didn't sell too much.
But Republic Commando was like they made
a great game.
Military Star Wars shooter basically where you play as a clone commander in a clone unit.
Call of Duty Star Wars.
Do stuff, and it was really, it was a really interesting.
Call of Duty single player Star Wars.
Basically, yeah, but in a good way, like.
Yeah, in a good way.
Because Star Wars is such a big universe. There's so many different kind of stories and areas you can focus on. So there's so much you can do in that universe.
Like not multiplayer in a good way.
So, let's move on from Battlefront, which we're all excited about, and it's going to be Game of the Year 2015. To our next discussion, which is going to be related to EA shutting down some free-to-play titles. So, EA shut down last week. Well, last week they announced that they were shutting down
the next 90 days,
in the next 90 days, a lot of EA free-to-play games. So some of the games on this list were Battlefield free-to-play, Battlefield Heroes, which are two different games, mind you. Battlefield free-to-play is essentially Battlefield 2 upgraded and free. That's all it is. Battlefield Heroes, Need for Speed World.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember what that one was called. And there were some other ones as well. But the main free-to-play game that they're not going to shut down, this is where we tie in here, is Star Wars The Old Republic, which is apparently still a huge profit generator for EA.
That makes money?
Yeah, like the reason
apparently
it makes
a lot of
surprise. I'm
surprised.
Apparently it brought in like 14 million last year.
Wow.
I guess to play was a good idea.
Net gain. Mind you. So this is after operating costs and development costs.
Which is even better.
It was one of the most expensive games ever developed. So.
Oh yeah, no, they're never going to make back that money. I think it was like 500. It was some stupid number how much they spent on it.
Yeah,
becoming less of a loss.
Yeah, the internet nickname for the launch of the Old Republic was Tortanic, which should tell you a lot about it. So
yeah, it wasn't too hot when it came out, but I guess honestly it's one of two MMOs that I've hit max level in. So that might tell you. So the other one was City of Heroes, so that might tell you something. And I'm actually about to start playing it again because they announced at a community cantina event, which is like they go around the country hosting like social events.
That's amazing.
And they call it community cantina. They announced that they're doing a 12 times experience boost for class missions. Now, why is this important? I'll tell you why. There are two different types of quests in the games. There's class quests and then there's other quests. Class quests are specific to whatever class you're playing and are a lot like a KOTOR storyline. The other ones are like your basic MMO quests that are, no matter which class you are, you're going to play through the same ones.
Kill 50 hogs.
Oh, by the way, sorry, just to interject quickly, they've estimated that the development cost between 150 million to 200 million dollars. They've made back 139 million so far.
Okay.
They might, if it's
better
up
than
for
I
a few
thought.
more years, they might make it back.
Yeah, they definitely could.
But
So Karen.
one of the best part of the Old Republic is without a doubt the storylines for the classes. The problem is to get through those storylines, you also have to play through all the side missions, which get very repetitive, because you have to be the right level to do all the story stuff. And to do that, you have to play. But if they do a 12 times experience boost, you can do nothing but play through the story missions, and you're still leveling up faster than you would normally. So
it cuts out the grinding, basically.
Yeah, it cuts out all the grinding. And they did this one time before their latest expansion came out. If you pre-ordered it and you were a subscriber, you got this. Now, I think on May the 4th, they're starting it up again for all subscribers. So if you ever wanted to play through it but not do all the grinding, you could get through the storylines and not have to worry about anything else.
Interesting.
And their storylines are very good.
Some stupid reason I had to process that when you said that.
Because that was the problem people had with Dragon Age Inquisition, was that they made it open world compared to the previous two games. But it's now a very different kind of game where you have the story quests, which people like, but you have to do a lot of doing MMO type quests to unlock enough XP to actually do the quests you want to do, and
the side quests are still like cutscenes and all, and they're entertaining. But the thing is, they're different for Empire and Republic, and there's 4 classes for each faction. So if I play through a bounty hunter and I want to play through like a Sith warrior, all the side quests are going to be exactly the same, so it get really repetitive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the side quests are the same for all classes.
Oh, right. Okay, I get you.
Yeah. Storylines are completely separate.
So just the regular MMO deal, sort of, basically.
Yeah, and
so like
then the difference is and then your storylines are the class quests. And there's normally the ratio is like 3 side missions per class quest. So you can see how it can get repetitive very quickly.
Yeah.
And then they also announced that they had a secret image that they released, which was a PNG with the SWTOR logo on it. But if you opened it in 7-zip as an archive, there was a hidden image, and it's a picture of what we believe is a Cotton Starforge. This is some very heavy lore stuff that nobody cares about, but the next expansion is going to be very interesting. The Rakata were an ancient race.
Was that in KOTOR when you go to the thing with all the fish people? No, not the fish people. There was some planet you went to, and there was something about a forge, and there was a sort of ruined, beachy planet. I think you crashed on it or something. It might have been KOTOR 2. But
let me check real quick.
Yeah. So we're talking about
Starforge. I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
Roger, you should play KOTOR 1 and 2, Knights of the Old Republic. It's a Star Wars RPG, and it goes nice and deep into all the good stuff. Cool. Is there
any multiplayer or anything?
Single player.
Yay!
Yeah, think of it like, I don't know. What can you compare it to? It's just an RPG, sort of Mass Effect type deal, but Star Wars. It's what kind of inspired stuff like Mass Effect later on.
I would just to kind of close out on SWTOR because it still is a fun.
Sure.
It's a fun game if you like the storylines. If anyone has a remote interest in those stories, you should definitely subscribe for a month and take part in the 12 XP event, because I assure you that the class missions, if nothing else in the game, it's worth it to play through the class missions because they're very good.
Sure.
Let's see if I can find this picture and show you guys.
While he's finding that picture, shall we start moving into another topic, or do we have anything else more to say about the EA closing?
That was it.
Yeah, all I wanted to say is I really hope there's another Jedi Knight thing so that Kyle Katarn is canon. But that's all I want to say.
Yes, I agree there.
I'm so looking forward to the fact that EA has exclusive rights to Star Wars stuff.
Yeah,
Because now, if BioWare wanted to, they could make a KOTOR 3.
Yeah, and I hope we never see Starkiller ever again.
Oh god, don't.
There's
The first one was good. The
that Matt was
second one was
talking about.
Yeah.
Cool.
So what's our next topic?
The next topic was Batman versus Superman.
Batfleck, 2016.
I don't know if anybody has seen, anybody who's watching has seen the trailer. I hope you have, because you
That's
know
what
you may and you may want to just get it over and done with, so you don't have to watch it again.
It got leaked.
Yeah.
And then they released it officially as it goes, because they're like,
Yeah.
no one. I mean, and once it's leaked, it's like,
Let's not make
Don't
people
even
watch this
pretend.
bad quality one.
yeah. So, yeah.
It's
Going to be great.
It didn't excite me at all. It's
No.
weird. I don't know.
that's
why.
I
this is the
I
problem.
can see
It didn't
If
really
you
show
ha-
anything
if-
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Or
if you
I
didn't
guess.
already have a passing interest in this.
I had
then
a- I had
you're
a-
probably
I-
not gonna care about it.
I had
Yeah,
an interest. I really wanted
No,
it to
had
do
a lot
well,
of-
Have you seen
and it looks.
Framing.
Have you seen
really
Dark Knight
boring.
Returns? Have you seen Dark Knight Returns?
Yeah, I've seen all the Dark Knights. Yeah.
I have. No,
Oh,
No,
no,
not
she's
the-
talking
not
about
the-
Returns
I'm talking about an animated movie.
already.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a Batman versus Superman movie.
Oh
or
no, I
animated
didn't see
movie,
that.
and it's based on a Frank Miller comic, and it's
Okay.
very good. And that seems to be where Zach is taking a lot of his inspiration when he's making this movie. That's why
Yeah.
I'm excited about it. The trailers
Same.
aren't really doing a lot for me. That being said, I really did like when they cut to Batfleck looking at the suit. That's his name, by the way. When they cut to Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne,
Yeah.
I think he looks really good as Bruce Wayne. I really like that
does.
shot.
Yeah, better than George Clooney. But
He's a good Bruce Wayne.
No,
Yeah,
I think Ben Affleck is definitely going to do a good. I think he's definitely going to do a good Batman.
yeah, it's good to see him having a good career turn.
I will say that I have no interest in the Superman part of the
Wasn't
movie.
he Daredevil? He was Daredevil.
Yeah, he's Daredevil, I think.
Yeah, I know. He's not the new one, and he's no longer canon. So,
Don't talk about
Yeah.
the old Daredevil movie.
but yeah. So, do you prefer robot Batman or where's Scarecrow Batman voice? Because we've heard Batman speak for the first time.
I don't really
Batman.
care, to be honest.
And some people are saying the voice is really goofy, and I'm like, it's just
I mean,
robot-y, echoey
it's okay.
voice. Yeah. it's like-
Well, that's not. It's
Yeah,
not
it
like
was
when
just-
he's
it's the
talking,
suit.
it's going to be, "Where's Superman?" or anything
Because I think-
stupid like
I think
that.
you're
It's
like
so
that.
much better than that.
He might sound like that.
Yeah. I think
It's a
as
huge
dumb.
improvement.
Yeah. As dumb as Bale's Batman voice was, I think everyone kind of secretly loved it because it was so.
Oh, I
dumb.
Yeah.
love.
It looped
Bale's
back round into being
classic.
great.
It was
I
hilarious.
love. Those are my favorite Batman movies. The only exception to that would be, what's his name playing the Joker in.
Jared Leto.
Jared
No,
Leto.
no.
Ledger,
No,
I mean.
I'm thinking about the old Batman movies.
Oh, those.
Jack Nicholson.
Clooney- or
Jack
Nicholson.
Nicholson. Jack Nicholson
How did you
Joker
forget Jack
was my
Nicholson?
favorite Joker.
Yeah,
I can't
he's
remember
great.
his name. That was the
I was
goofiest movie
not
I've
a
ever
fan
seen.
of
The one thing that I really, really can't stand, and I know that people probably get on top of me about this,
I'm ready.
is that the ears of the Batsuit are really, really, really tiny.
They wanted to. Oh wait, I thought you were going to say the other way around.
No, they're like.
I remember someone was complaining.
They're like stubs
Yeah,
on
you
top
used
of
to
them.
complain.
I used to complain about them being too. I used to complain about them being too tall and just being
It's
stupid.
It's
But,
all
like,
taken cues from the comic book.
The thing
It's
is,
all taken cues from the comic.
Yeah.
I know, but they just
It's-
look so silly now. They look like
See,
Catman.
Even down to like the fat Batman logo, like
Yeah.
the fat
Yeah,
bat.
I think it
I
depends
just
on
said that 4 times.
how they
That's from
frame.
the comic too.
Yeah. I think it depends on how they frame them, like the shots. Because if there's one thing that cosplayers taught us, it's that good lighting and framing can make any costume look good, but some costumes, you just have to look because that's the magic of cinema. It can make anything look good.
Yeah,
You just have to-
I guess. Maybe not everything, but.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, I think because I'm watching it right now, and the short little stubby ears look good with the robot, like mechanical style, metal helmet that he has, but definitely not with his plasticky one. I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah.
if we see it more in motion, it might,
We just have to wait. Like, I really, Zack Snyder is the same guy that did Watchmen, and I really like that movie. So.
Yeah, but then he was also the same guy who did Sucker Punch, so...
Yeah, what else did...
I didn't mind that, honestly.
Did not see Sucker Punch.
It wasn't... I mean, it was... Yeah. Yeah.
It was a
I didn't mind
movie
it.
made of movies I would have rather wanted to see.
Oh yeah, there's Fat Bat.
Oh yeah, that is fat.
Yeah,
He's very bulky. He's
fat,
like
he's just
cartoony bulky.
He's
Yeah.
bulky,
He's got
yeah.
like this super large upper chest.
Yeah, because
The idea of that comic is
Yeah,
he is
old.
like he's retired. He's older. He's retired. He's not been Batman for a while,
Sure.
and he decides to sort of get back into it to prove that he still can, kind of just to prove it to himself. And he does it, and he's fantastic.
Yeah, it's one of the most famous Batman comics, along with one called The Killing Joke, which is worth a read.
I honestly like Dark Knight Returns more.
Me too.
Yeah, I mean, Killing Joke was sort of quite a short one. It was very, it was more of a side, like one-off sort of thing. Dark Knight Returns is one of the things that made Frank Miller famous, kind of. And he's famous for Sin City. That was him.
Yeah.
He also did The Spirit. Remember The Spirit? That movie? No? Okay.
I don't remember that Spirit.
And what else did he do? Oh, he did 300, obviously. 300 was a Frank Miller comic.
Oh god, I've just seen the Meat Cube.
Yeah. Meat Cube.
Meat Cube?
It's the Unreal Engine thing we were talking about.
We'll get round to Meat Cube maybe later. But yeah.
Well, we don't have too much time. We've got
I think
about another 10-15 minutes.
The problem with the trailer isn't that it couldn't be an interesting movie or a cool movie. It's just that the trailer is more like a teaser. It's all like build up, but they don't show anything happening. Yeah, so.
Did anyone else?
A lot more interesting.
Did anyone else notice Elastigirl was talking?
People kept saying
from
that.
The Incredibles.
Oh,
she's a reporter, and that voice is Elastigirl because she's got the list.
There's also
right.
Grass Tyson.
Is it Helen Hunt?
Power changes, and power is absolute.
Oh no, wait,
change is
absolute.
Every time I heard it, I was
didn't
like, wow,
recognize that was her.
Wasn't Lex Luthor
I
talking as well?
immediately recognized it.
Yeah, I think Lex Luthor was talking at one point,
Jesse
and there was
Tyson
definitely Neil deGrasse Tyson in there. That was kind of weird.
I mean, yeah.
It's a very weird trailer. Like they were panning into the false god statue. It was really weird. Like it almost looks like it would be better.
I'm like, what?
I mean, if it's anywhere near as dark as Dark Knight Returns, that is not the movie that people think they're going to see. If you go into that movie and it's like Dark Knight Returns and you haven't, if you don't know about it,
you know, what kind of people are going to be really disappointed by this movie, no matter what. If they're going in expecting DC's The Avengers,
that or
that would really kill it.
Christian Bale.
Yeah,
or Chris Nolan, Batman.
Yeah, because we know that they're doing a big Justice League setup as well, and that they've got Aquaman.
Yeah, this is supposed to be a setup for Justice League. This is Dawn of Justice, I think the title was.
Yeah.
That's what confuses me in the trailer. Like, if there's so many people
that were separate.
No, this is leading into that though. Hence the title Dawn of Justice.
Yeah, it's called Dawn of Justice.
So. Yeah, but
that's how it seems, at least.
Then doesn't that mean that it ends with Batfleck and Superman being all nice to each other?
Yeah. In the Avengers, they found excuses for all of them to fight each other, and then they're still friends.
Yeah.
It's one of because superheroes, if they fight, all they need is some minor misunderstanding, like who took the milk in the fridge, and then they'll go at it.
Yeah, but that's not how Dark Knight Returns went.
Yeah.
It's not how Dark
Damn it, Green Arrow!
Yeah. That's all the excuse they need. Just misunderstandings. That's how anime works.
No, it's more like they'll use the word. They'll use it. Damn it, Green Arrow!
Yeah.
Come back with the milk.
What I'm confused about is if all these people don't trust Superman and think he's a false god, how do they go from that to starting the Justice League, where everyone loves him?
Yeah, I think
it's Aquaman in this one too.
Yeah, I think the reason they think Superman's
Woman.
I think the reason they think Superman's evil is
Everyone keeps on cutting Chris off. Let him talk.
I think the reason they think Superman's evil is because every time he turns up, the color palette of the entire world desaturates into red and grey, and everything explodes.
He caused $300 billion worth of damage in all major cities.
I hope they're actually going to address that in this movie.
That would be really cool.
Is this an actual sequel to that Superman movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's continuing
that one.
Yeah.
The Man of Steel.
For some reason, I thought this was. I can't remember what it's called. Man of Steel.
Man of Steel.
The Man of Tomorrow Steel returns. Man.
For some reason, I kept thinking this movie was a one-off. I didn't think it was anywhere linked with the other ones.
I didn't actually know a lot about
it. That's really all I got to say about it.
What was interesting to me is there's one scene in the trailer where it shows Superman and there's like some kind of ladder behind him. It looks like he goes down some kind of bunker or well kind of thing.
Yeah,
and there's a bunch of soldiers. There's a bunch of soldiers.
Yeah.
There's like 4 soldiers or something.
They're like kneeling
or
something.
Like Superman logos.
Yeah. Oh.
They got like the weird shape.
What the heck is? I don't understand what this movie's gonna be. It's got Aquaman in it.
I
thought it was just gonna be like Batman versus Superman, but it's got
Superman.
Aquaman.
Oh yeah, they have.
Yeah.
Just so much that they still haven't said that.
Yeah, they got the Superman.
I don't know what the hell they're doing.
And they're like kneeling as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if like it could go good or it could go bad. I just don't know.
Oh, you know what I hope they're not doing?
What?
They're not going to. But Superman with a bunch of Superman logo guys with like rifles reminds me of Injustice, where Superman goes evil and becomes like the Emperor of Earth, and he has
that's. I don't see it like that.
Superman,
I see it more like Dark Knight Returns. Dark Knight Returns, he's basically working for the government.
Yeah.
And just does whatever they tell him.
Only thing is that I mean I don't know if you
weird.
I mean like I don't know if you guys already spoke about this that the big idol with the false god thing is a massive statue of Superman. Yeah. So like I mean he could be.
I don't think they're going to go that way. That would be like some spin-off if they wanted to do an Injustice movie, but because even in Injustice it was like alternate world Superman or something.
You guys did just remind me of something really, really funny I read the other day. This is back on to Star Wars for just a second here. People made the comment that Han and Chewie show up at the end of that trailer for the new movie.
Yeah.
People were talking about how Chewie looks better, if not the same as he used to, and then someone in this Reddit thread was like, "Well, Wookiees lived for 400 years, so he's probably in his prime now." And then some guy was like, "Yeah, Wookiees live for 400 years. They're expected to get find jobs or find a steady source of income." And some guy, and then some guy was like, "I just imagine Chewie sitting at a desk pushing papers for the Republic." And then someone made a reference that's like, "Chewie, did you get the memo about those new TPS report headers?"
That was a good impression.
That was a really good one.
You know what that reminds me of? All those videos on YouTube of people being like, "Chewie is my cupboard" or "Chewie is my dresser," because they have.
Yeah, I remember this.
Because when they open the door, it goes.
And then somebody was like, "Wow, Chewie found conditioner since the old movies because his hair looks nicer."
It's
like just for Wookiee.
I mean, he wasn't in a garbage chute in this one, as far as
stay
we know.
clean. How do they stay clean? How do they dry?
It's head, bodies, knees, toes, shoulders, crotch, pants, legs, arms, pants. It's the new Dove stuff.
Wookiee houses must have like a hairdryer room. You just stand there.
Yeah, it's definitely the new head and shoulders and knees and toes and everything. Yeah.
Everything else, everything in between.
But it's cool to see them back, and it kind of says a lot about Star Wars. That obviously, the week that this comes out and the Star Wars teaser comes out, everyone's talking about Star Wars, and people are talking about.
Well, yeah, I mean, there was quite a lot of speculation before that from I can't remember what channel it was on YouTube. They do movies. They talk about movies and stuff. Anyway, so basically, they Screen Junkies, that was it, and they were saying like, do we think that younger generations are going to enjoy Star Wars? Because if you think about it, the prime of Star Wars was way back, 70s, 80s, 90s. Yeah, and like so the kids who are teenagers now you know, the people who are the millennials and so on, like they've been growing up on all the Marvel and all the Avengers and all that sort of stuff.
We'll enjoy
So,
it. We'll enjoy
yeah,
it
no,
as
no.
a 19-year-old.
So,
They'll enjoy
Been
it.
growing up on
guarantee
what,
you that
but what I'm
most of my
saying,
generation.
yeah. So the thing is that they would. So they were speculating, would it not be as big a hit, or not? And obviously now we can see that it's like. But we're talking about this was a year ago, and people were saying,
Oh, I
"Oh,
see.
like
I see. This
we
was
don't
before
actually."
this.
Yeah. So this was before anything happened. So people were like saying, "Well, do we think Star Wars is actually going to make a big return in terms of bringing in new markets?" Obviously, they've done that.
Well,
They've done that well, and they So
Look, Disney owns Star Wars. They will market.
no,
They will
but it's
market
not
it with
that.
the
It's not
GDP
just
of a
that, though.
small country.
It's not. It's not
true.
just that though, because Star Wars, when that original trilogy came out that changed like the world, it's not going to happen with these. It's just not.
No,
That being
it's not.
said, I will tell you that everyone in my generation that is remotely interested in stuff like Star Wars, excuse me, is of the opinion that, like, oh yeah, those new movies were pretty good, but then they go and they watch that old trilogy and they're like, these are a lot better, and that is only amplified by all of those recuts that Lucas has done. I mean, they just released it on digital HD last week.
Yeah, they do.
It's
keep
now
doing
you
that.
can download them on iTunes. They keep
Oh,
re-releasing it,
and I want to.
regardless of all the edits that everybody doesn't like.
I don't know if I'm going to make this show really, really unpopular for me having this opinion, but I rewatched the original Star Wars trilogy the other day, and like, okay, they're brilliant movies for their time, but honestly, the acting is not that good.
It's because Lucas is not a good director.
Yeah.
He was.
He does.
No. I
He's
get that.
stuck.
I get directing. If you are really bad directing, you can make an actor look shit. I get that.
How much do you guys agree with the whole like theory that he just happened to be surrounded by all the right people?
Yeah.
For that space of time.
Absolutely.
Oh, he absolutely
I absolutely
was.
agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because-
his writing was great, but like
He couldn't direct.
can't direct.
It's
He does not know how to
Maybe
work.
he's a world builder. Maybe I don't know.
So
Yeah.
do people? Sorry, go on. Come on.
I was just going to say, the New Hope script is not what he wrote.
Sure.
That got modified. Luke Starkiller never made it into the film. Like, all of that stuff got modified. He didn't have any chains on him with the new ones. He had chains on him with the old ones.
Yeah.
I mean, so this is the thing. I don't know if people agree with me or not with that, but like, so the movies, they revolutionized a lot of movie making, and they revolutionized the way that people see saw action movies. Invented the blockbuster. It was the CGI, the effects, everything was incredible. And I get that it changed the industry, but it was one of those things that I like go back to it. I watch fondly because it was incredibly nostalgic for me, and I love the movies beyond everything. But looking at it critically, the movies, the acting is just awful, and
I don't know if I would agree.
Well, maybe not awful, maybe not going as far as awful, but just not as good as they could have been. I think we see it through rose tinted glasses. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people see it through those rose tinted glasses.
Like there is nothing bad to be said about Han's acting. Like in the.
But he was one actor who brought it heavily together. I guess. So go on.
But Harrison Ford had a lot of like Han's a real person.
Yeah,
Harrison Ford had a lot of previous acting experience before Star Wars was even a thing. All of the other guys, like, I know Mark Hamill went to an acting school. Like he was actually a graduate of a school, and I know this because I listened to a stupid amount of interviews. I don't really know a lot about Carrie Fisher. I don't really know a lot about Lando. I can't remember the actor's name right now.
Billy D. Williams.
That's it.
But I know that later on, at least, all of those people went on to prove themselves as actors, especially Mark Hamill, because he did all the Joker stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that if there was any sort of, not bad, but kind of acting, it was probably due to the director.
Yeah.
A
director.
Now, that being said,
knowing how to work.
I've never I've never I never really noticed any off sort of like off balanced acting when I watch those movies. I do watch them with some form of rose-tinted glasses, but I don't normally pick up on bad. I guess I really don't normally pick up on bad acting to begin with, so that might be something to do with it. But I never noticed anything.
Yeah, what I'm thinking might be at play here is okay. So the acting isn't bad or worse, apart from any directional whatever issues. I think it's just different because even
The
going
style
back to,
of
like,
the time.
even going back to the
Yeah.
70s and 80s, yeah, the way people acted in films was a lot more theatrical. Well,
Yeah,
these days we take
actually,
for
that's
granted
something
that
else.
they direct people to be very realistic and natural and
They
more
act
like
less now.
yeah.
I mean,
They
yeah,
act
I mean,
less,
also,
but they act more to act
yeah.
less. Yeah.
Also, I guess another thing that I should be saying as a point, even I'm the one who was going up against them, is that things like microphone technology has become incredibly sensitive now. So you can have really quiet whispering scenes, and like really intimate scenes with characters. Expressing a lot of emotion without having them to be, shouting at the top of their lungs and being, really, really theatrical about it because they have to be able to amplify themselves or so on and so forth.
Because Star
they can
Wars
really...
is like it's based on all those. It's based on like old westerns and samurai films, which was what George Lucas used to watch when he was a kid, and they were all very, and they were like the kind of shows where they're like that era's equivalent of like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in terms of acting and effects and stuff. They were very over the top, very theatrical.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. And so a lot of that probably got brought in terms of how everyone acts. It's all very loud. Broadcast.
If you go watch
soundtrack,
if you go watch the original Star Trek series,
yeah,
same way, if not a little bit worse.
I mean, William Shatner.
But then you go and watch like Enterprise, or the new movies, and it's totally different.
Mm-hmm.
Are you right, Cameron?
Yeah, no, my ship just got shot.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
This is how they did it. They shook the camera and everybody did this.
Oh, no, no. If the ship gets shot and everyone is on camera at the same time, everyone grabs their desk and goes like, whoa.
Yeah, they grab the... No, it's great if you ever watch them actually filming that. It's the best thing ever because it's literally like someone will yell like bang and then everybody starts doing this. It's really funny to watch.
Also the fight scenes.
But, like just
and the people standing up are just stumbling around.
Yeah.
But back to Lucas, he has been known to have at one point said like, do the same scene again but better.
Are you serious?
That's how he directs actors.
Okay.
He really doesn't know how to work with actors.
Listen, Howard the Duck is the greatest movie ever created, and everyone else just needs to see that.
Who? What? What was this?
There were so many
Howard
stories.
The Duck.
Howard the Duck.
Oh God. Yeah.
Okay.
There were so many stories about George Lucas.
Have you not seen?
No, I don't think so.
Oh my God.
Continue not to see it.
Right, I think we should go on to the last. I think we should go on to the last few topics, just so we can get through these. Just
Star Wars related.
So no, we were not even meant to go on to Star Wars. So okay, let's do GTA 5 port. It's done really, really well. They've now gotten to second place on the list of Steam games, as like one of the most popular multiplayer games at the moment. Like, was it 300,000 players at the
just being played? I don't know if the
just being played.
Normally Dota 2, and I said this earlier before we were recording, so I'll just kind of repeat myself. Yeah. Normally it's Dota 2, Counter-Strike Go, and then everything under that is kind of mixed.
Mm-hmm.
The day after the day that it was released, because I played it at midnight, it got unlocked at 7 p.m. on a Monday in the U.S., so it came out a little bit before the 14th. The day that it did come out, the 14th, it was at 300,000 users. That was its peak. The peak for today was 380-something thousand. But yesterday, or the day before, it actually peaked out above Counter-Strike Go, which hasn't happened for any game in a very long time.
Yeah.
So that's what the whole ruckus is about.
Yeah, so it's been pretty impressive, especially. So it's been pretty impressive with a lot of games over this week. So GTA 5 port, obviously, that was really, really big. Over a million sales for Bloodborne. That was really, really big
in
as
3
well.
weeks.
In
That's
3
the
weeks.
Biggest selling game fastest selling game they've ever made.
Yeah.
Dark Souls 2 did very well.
Which is really, I think, I just want to put this, which is a testament to gamers, I think, everywhere, because it's really, really cool to see really complex games with deep lore and very, very challenging game styles still being shown to be popular. And it's a shout out to all the people who make these who keep on repeating the same thing over and over again. I'm looking at you, Call of Duty. I'm looking at you, Ubisoft, with Assassin's Creed. You know, try and break the mold. I know From Software have their own mold that they seem to be just working with and not trying to leave their comfort zone too much with that.
It's their templates, but they did take it to different places.
But they're taking it to different places. They've added so many incredible monsters, and I mean, me and Chris have been playing it over the last few weeks, and every single area has been really interesting monsters with different designs, things that are like relevant designs, and really, really shocking, twists and turns and everything. It's been brilliant. So, I think it's been really, really cool to see that doing so well. And it is really promising for the video games industry. There was another thing that got over 1 million. That we said that we didn't really want to talk about, but it still did. I thought we said that there was another game that got over 1 million sales or something.
Cities Skylines.
Right? Oh, Cities Skylines.
There's a reason that we said.
Yeah.
It's not because it's a bad
game. Yeah, let's not talk about this.
Great game. It's the best city builder that's been released this year so far.
Or probably last year too, to be honest.
And some might say that if you bought one earlier this year, you may have made a bad investment.
Some may say that.
Not necessarily.
Some may say that.
25% of us may say that.
Yeah, so basically, I bought a Cities XXL, and it was probably the worst investment of money I've ever made in my life. Anyway, let's move on.
It's more of a Cities S.
It's not a bad game. It's a horrible game. Don't buy it. I'm sorry, we're meant to stay neutral.
I'm sorry, but when you make a sequel and the sequel is more broken than the original one and has less features, I don't understand what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, the freaking HUD is gray, transparent rectangles, and the buttons aren't even centered.
The buttons are centered. The text inside the buttons are not centered.
Yes.
Oh my god. What are you doing?
Okay, anyway, let's just go. I don't want to dwell on this. I haven't touched that game since I bought it. Anyway, right. Last couple of things. Rock Band versus Guitar Hero. Guitar Hero Live has been announced, and they are going to be bringing it out, and you are going to be able to play as if you are a real guitarist in front of a real audience who are all going to really effectively. Because it's all filmed in a live stadium, so you're going to be able to play it. I know the argument that Matt's about to bring out, and but I'm a guitarist as well. Yeah, like you can do all that, and also they're bringing out a new guitar for Guitar Hero, which is which is
I don't like it.
They're bringing out a new guitar, which is slightly different. So instead of it having 5 buttons, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the frets, they've now got, I think they're bringing out 10 buttons. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the top, and then 1, 2, 3, 5 at the bottom. So yeah. So now, there's that.
Yeah.
Yes, we understand that.
So,
you could play real guitar and become a real rock legend.
Listen, this is what I have to say to people. If you want to be a real rock star, I used to play Guitar Hero. Now I have a Gibson Les Paul.
Yeah, but the
hard to learn, people.
But the thing is that like they can emulate being a rock star and not have to take it seriously.
I don't think
whereas you're sitting in your bedroom wanting to be a rock star.
I really like those games. I'm serious. I used to play Guitar Hero all the time, and then I played Rock Band. They're really good games. I was just making a joke about the whole playing a real guitar thing.
Yeah.
It's down to the track list.
Yeah, that's for sure.
If Rock Band's got a better track list, I'm going to buy Rock Band.
Honestly, Guitar Hero with Guitar Hero 3, I think it was that me and Chris got on the Wii U. Guitar Hero with the only tracks that I ever played were all the extra tracks. I never played like the campaign tracks are awful, but like when you got like
no, there's good ones.
There's a really important point to make regarding pitting these two against each other.
Sure.
So Guitar Hero doesn't do this or hasn't had it confirmed yet, but Rock Band 4 carries over all of your bought DLC from every previous Rock Band game.
I've never played it.
Which could total hundreds of dollars.
Not backwards compatible. Guitar Hero has no backwards compatibility because of the way they.
Big difference to some people.
For one, they've got a new guitar thing that you can't use the old ones.
No, you can't use the old one.
Row of buttons.
Yeah.
And also, I just don't like the style of buttons they're using. I like the old Guitar Hero buttons. Those were the best of the best buttons because they bumped out. You could actually feel when you're on one and when you're pressing.
It was like an old arcade machine button. That's what it felt like. It was tactile. It was mechanical.
They don't look.
Let me see if I can find the picture of the new one.
So arguably, Rock Band 4 is better because it does have the best set list because it has all the music you already bought that you wanted so far.
Sure. I submitted about 79 different Wings songs when they were asking for submissions. So if there's not a single Wings track in that game when it gets released, I am protesting.
They better put in the
protesting. That's going.
Track of 2112 as
well.
Serious.
Yeah, the whole 2112 track, all 20 minutes of it. It was just
okay.
I want there to be a single
I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to hurry this along because we're running out of time.
Sure.
So the last one thing, which is basically Smash Brothers rumors and Mewtwo, because Mewtwo I think is getting released. Or has been released. Okay.
Well, I don't know about buying him. I don't think he's released for that, but people who have
can you get him for the 3DS
the
one?
3DS and Wii U copies can now get Mewtwo.
Okay. Cool.
Oh yes, that was the thing actually. Yeah, they released the codes for people who bought both Smash Brothers to get Mewtwo, but he's not available to buy until the end of this month, I think.
Sure.
Or maybe next month, early next month.
Yeah, which is kind of unfortunate.
Yeah.
Even though I do have him now, but I just like.
But he'll be available.
Why not let everyone have him?
I guess because they wanted an incentive for people who, did the codes.
Yeah, I mean, my incentive was I wanted it for both copies, I wanted both copies.
Yeah. All right, I think we'll probably call it there. It's starting to get dark.
And
I'm not gonna.
Huh? Sorry, guys.
We're getting new game, get one extra character for free.
Okay, we're getting loads and loads of lag. Okay, right. Well, I think we're gonna call it there now. Because it's getting quite dark.
The same as in Melee.
And
if you liked him in Melee, you may like him in Smash Brothers for Wii U and 3DS. What a terrible name.
So go and buy Smash Brothers. Right. So thank you for joining us on this. I think it was episode 6 or 7. Or one of them. We're probably gonna stop episoding them anyway.
It's been so long, we don't even know.
So thank you for joining us. Obviously, we're going to put down all the links to any relevant information from the stream down below. If you want to follow us on Facebook and Twitter, those links will be down below. Please make an account on keeptracker.com. For some reason, I couldn't say that. And follow us on our Twitch stream for Artificial Fun, which I'll also put the link down below. I think I've not been doing that properly. Please like this video if you liked it. Dislike it if you disliked it. Leave a comment down below and tell us what you think about all this and start a discussion. And we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Bye guys. Thanks for checking in.